Aloha. This is podcast number 65 entitled Living More Authentically. Happy 2022, audience. It's been a minute since my last podcast. Instead of apologizing, as I have so often before, I'm owning that my recordings and my inspiration are infrequent, and accepting within myself that this has been like this for a while. This is a glimpse into my own work of living more authentically and helping what has been and what is. And if you've missed this, I appreciate your following, and I will hope that this fills the spots, everything you need for today. In this podcast, I'm going to discuss what it takes to live authentically, and first off, what causes us to not live authentically, the trappings, the hooks, the mechanisms that keep us from being authentic. Giving you a little detail and hopefully more understanding of our human nature, and therefore more acceptance. Do we want to live a life of habit or a life of the freedom to choose? That's a good question. First off, what does living authentically mean? Let's ponder that a moment. Living authentically is living in the present moment without a filter of your mind. We need to begin by checking in. I teach my clients and students to ask yourself, what are 2 feeling words? Take a deep cleansing breath and be curious. You scan your body, you notice any sensations, tightness, shallow breathing, sharp sensations, numbness, the absence of feeling, and what emotions might arise. Could your feeling words be anxious and alert, sleepy and confused? There are a billion other combinations that can be totally polarized or in harmony with each other, yet you didn't know this until you took the time to be authentic and check in to see where are you at in this very moment. Note that these check-ins have no right or wrong answer. They're all yours. What's up this moment? Also, you may notice, if you do this regularly, to question or see, is there a pattern? Am I always a certain feeling? Am I not experiencing different feelings or sensations? There's a whole rainbow of many feelings and sensations to feel. Are you feeling fluctuations moment to moment? Now, I would love that experience for you, to actually see the impermanence of every moment, always changing, never the same, therefore full of growth and fluid, never boring. Life is full of wondrous moments. I work with clients in my life coaching practice, and I hear they become attached to wanting to feel a certain way. Usually this is, I just want to be happy. And that happy becomes their barometer. I just want to have fun. Yet they're not. They're not happy or fun. They're very sad and very serious and very controlled with their actions because there's work to do, because they can't show up authentically. What if I'm here to tell you that happy isn't the end game? Meaning, what if we dropped the belief that happy is the goal, and to learn to cultivate curiosity of all the feelings and sensations and emotions and experiences that we have access to? Not being obsessed with pleasure and feeling good, yet comfortable with whatever wants to be felt in the moment, authentically. We have so many mechanisms, false personas, addictions that perpetuate this false life of repetition, this sameness, getting the same results. Why every time I talk to them does this happen? Well, are you showing up the same way? Are you responding the same way? We can't control another, but we can choose to be different ourselves. Do you want to enter another new year the same habitual way? Is your life everything you want right now? Are you overflowing with gratitude every day? Are you complaint-free? Or is this a consistent mode of communication? So unhappy. It's never right, never just how you want it. Are you constantly trying to plan, construct, or steer others into your reality of comfort? How often do you just show up somewhere without a plan or an expectation? Are you curious? Is life safer if you can control it and others? Again, these are questions to look at gently, not critically. Often using consistent numbing techniques, either through substances, alcohol, distraction, however, it's showing that we are more attached to short-term pleasure and familiarity than having the courage or skills, the guidance to lean into our edges of discomfort, of awkwardness, of experiencing what this moment offers. Are you a person that's obsessed with planning every move? Every move. It feels like you're gonna explode if it doesn't happen a certain way. You get so angry, you get so defiant, you get so... How do you get? I will say that structure has a purpose as a starting point, and even as a blueprint that we can build on, but not as the construction of the whole experience. It is a starting point. Allow time where life can come in and evolve and finish the experience, the project, the encounter, the relationship, the moment. Allow time for the people in your life and the circumstances to show up in their naturally occurring ways. Now, consciously, intentionally, authentically, you could take notes when you meet someone or you're with a family member or friend and something they're saying or their behavior scares you. You can also take notes when something aligns with your values. And then you can reflect on choice of how to proceed with these new insights that you saw. And to be curious the next time you encounter these people or these same circumstances. When a client talks about so much happened since our last session, and it was only a week ago, I am so excited for them. Although their reporting may be filled with a little bit of drama, or maybe some sadness or some uncomfortable places, it also is mixed with revelations and new experiences and acknowledgement that I am growing, that I showed up fully. What does it mean when you're awake? What does it mean when your subconscious is working with you, showing you images and patterns and those pieces all fitting together so that you start getting parts of the tapestry, parts of the puzzle, and it's all making sense. You have an agreement. I'm going to take off the armor and I'm going to live authentically to the best of my ability. With the skills and the tools I have, I will gently drop what is no longer of value to me. And I will have courage to walk lightly into new arenas. I will show up differently with my parent, with my partner, with my children, with my co-workers. And I will see, what is this like? Did you know there are 10,080 minutes in 1 week? That's a lot of minutes. If we were to subtract some sleep time, and let's say we're not so in tune with remembering our dreams, which some of us are, and then that becomes more reflection time, there is a lot of opportunity for experiences to feel in a week. A lot. When we are in our mother's womb, all of our needs are met. Then we're born, we take our first breath into this strange planet, and regardless of the circumstances of having the most attentive parents to being abandoned or neglected, it is impossible on a human existence to have all of your needs met. So we create a story that something must be wrong. Something must be wrong with me. Why am I not getting my needs met? It begins from the moment of our first breath. These thoughts, these wondering, why doesn't it feel the same? And so it begins. The mind in its brilliance begins to experiment with tactics on how to get these needs met. These are known as mechanisms. These mechanisms teach us, wait a minute, when I cry or yell, someone comes running. Or if I'm quiet and try to disappear, no one will be angry at me. If I'm serving and people-pleasing, I will be liked or accepted, at least in the moment. Our mind is brilliant. It helps our sensitive selves, our true nature, to survive without total heartbreak, without devastation or death. Yet as we grow up, we forget this isn't who I am. This is a learned behavior. This is a technique that I adapted to, a mechanism I learned to survive and to get some of my needs met. Spiritually, we can call these mechanisms or identification the belief of self. We believe this to be who we are, or we call it the ego. The ego's purpose is all of its actions and words are self-centered to get their own needs met, their short-term gratification met. As we mature, as we become more conscious, as we heal our past traumas, as we develop life skills, self-care, understanding of what our needs are, what our core needs are, and how to communicate to get them met by others, and how to meet our own needs. That's called doing the work. We become life-centered. So the ego is self-centered, and the higher spiritual path, the highest of human beings, becomes life-centered, where the goal is the good of all involved, be that if all is our family, our community, or our world, and it includes myself. This is not with the exclusion of me and my needs. It is my needs in reference to the whole. The awareness of others' needs in reference to the alignment of our own true, authentic nature. This becomes the skill of knowing, when is this my work that I have more work to do because that didn't feel good, or I wasn't proud of my behavior. That wasn't how I meant that to happen. That becomes your work, where you allow reflective time. This awareness and way of living often offers choices, where we're in a point of choice where we no longer sometimes see, I don't feel aligned with my partner, with my living environment, with the career path that I chose. With these values are so opposed to how I feel inside. The choice is to accept it as is. This is the highest view, is I accept how it is and still find a way to get my needs met, or I move along to see what new mirrors in the form of people. People are our reflectors. They're our mirrors to see our other aspects of ourselves, because it's hard to see ourselves without that mirror in front of us. So these new people, these new circumstances will show up, and they will present perhaps a new part of yourself, or a stronger part of yourself that you may or may not like. But that can be your growth edge. That can be your work. That could be your, here's the green light to go in this direction. This feels a little ouch. A whole new path of growth and curiosity. Are we here on this planet of this giant classroom to keep growing, to keep expanding our acceptance of what is, to be more present of this moment? I am. That's what I want to do. That's my whole purpose in life, and to teach that and teach skills and tools on how to do that, how to have deeper, more fulfilling relationships, how to not have my feelings hurt, how to, without expressing, I have a request, can you do it like this, or can you communicate to me in this way? I can hear that easier. We learn skills of communication. A wise Zen master said a phrase: enlightenment is giving up hope of changing the past. Enlightenment is giving up hope of ever changing the past. Now, I recently heard this during a 5-day silent retreat I did online at the beginning of the year. And when I heard it, I had developed a lot of concentration already. It was a few days in, and my meditations were very still and quiet. And my subconscious was very potent and alert. And I heard those words, and they interwove throughout my body, and I could feel what that meant, and I began to cry. And I cried, I don't even know the time. I wasn't aware of the clock. And it wasn't a cathartic, lots of thinking cry. It was just like the tears falling down my face and the suffering, the deepest of suffering of humanity I felt. And then my mind started to show me little, like camera shots of specks of moments in my life, like a snapshot of a puzzle. And it started showing me little areas that were surrounded in pain. And I haven't been leaning into that. I haven't been fully able to feel that, to accept that. So it made me question, where am I not authentic in my current life because of those frozen moments of pain? I have learned on this path of awakening, of humankind, of my heart, that doing my work, which has to do with leaning into places that don't feel good, to become aware of where I'm stuck, where I'm afraid to go, where I may be rigid, that through self-care and compassion and tenderness, that I can go into these places that have these pain wrapped around them. And I was so grateful in that moment for this like new insight of this is the next door to walk through for freedom. This is where I go. This is an unloved, unowned, unacknowledged part of my past that I need to time travel and embrace fully. Just hold me in that age, in that moment of heartbreak, of devastation, of betrayal, and really just sit with my inner child, with myself, for as long as it takes. I am going to be there for myself. This is what I teach in my sessions, how to do that for yourself. So, when we have places that are forgotten, that are stuck, that are painful, too painful to look at, we respond in a patterned, automatic, reactionary way to life until we address the moment the pain occurred. The time in our life where we needed someone most, we can be that for ourselves. We tend to lean into perceived pleasure and away from pain. We're taught that in society. We're not encouraged to, I see you're having a hard time. I'm going to give you some space to sit with that. Or tell me what you need. I'm here. I'm here to hold space. I'm here to hold you. I'm here to listen deeply without fixing you, without my opinions. That's what we're looking for. That's what we need. We are so desperately trying to live past the pain. What brilliant manipulation or numbing techniques are we using nonstop? We've cultivated 24/7. This mechanism is engaged, and it knows to steer away from those sharp points, from those painful memories. And I will tell you, to use a mechanism, to identify with it, that we believe it's protecting us, it takes so much energy to constantly steer away, to alter what is, to alter the authentic moment, that we're exhausted. Do you ever feel eternally exhausted in your life? Are you spending so much unconscious energy avoiding the pain, avoiding the thoughts? Wouldn't you like the freedom to be 100% present, to bring that energy back to you, to have access to every part of you? All of that cover up to supposedly protect ourselves. What it's doing is it's robbing us from responding uniquely, authentically, sometimes in a silly way, sometimes in such an uncharacteristic way, yet we are responding as is in every moment as it presents itself to us. Think about this. Where is it in your life? Where are your places of ouch? That perhaps your behavior, your mechanism becomes controlling or judging, or you believe you're the fixer. I got to have a plan. I got to change this. I got to help them. You're the avoider. I shut down. The distractor, the partier. I just want to have a good time. I don't want to look at this. The addict. All of those ways are a form of being an addict. All of these techniques are not our authentic nature. Ask yourself, how do you show up in challenging, unfamiliar situations? What is the feeling and the sensation in your body as you walk into a room you've never been before, with people you've never met before? What is that feeling? Is it excitement? Is it curiosity? Is it dread? Is it protecting and hiding? How do you show up in these situations, or don't you? Do you avoid them totally? How much of your life do you want to waste in this habitual, unnatural, unauthentic lie? Take a deep breath. Reflect on how these words are landing with you in this moment. What are the sensations in your body? How does it feel? What thoughts are coming up? Are you breathing? Are you present? Are you wanting to turn this off because this is such a downer? Does this feel like, wow, this is my next doorway? This is exactly what I needed to hear. I was stuck. I personally have felt and seen such suffering, such loneliness, such unworthiness, that to fully understand this fully, this is the human condition. Regardless of if it's visible or regardless of if you have managed the pain enough that you pay your bills, you have relationships that are acceptable, is it really meeting your needs on a deep core, heart-filled, always changing and growing, extraordinary level? We are in a culture of infidelity, sexual promiscuity, unconscious sexual encounters with our partners. We just do it to get off. I just want to feel better. I forgot to check in to look in their eyes, to see how they are. What's the experience for them? What are their needs? Or we're clinging to unhealthy relationships that meet none of our core needs. Yet the truth is, it is acceptable in our society to ask for sex more than it is to ask for a hug or to be held. The fear of being that vulnerable and possibly feeling rejection is way too scary. How sad and painful is that? If you are in a relationship that your partner was unfaithful, or if you are the one that you have often veered off, or you're constantly swiping right on the next dating app because you're so desperately lonely, what's really happening there? Do you wish you could find someone that is safe, that you can just be yourself and just snuggle in and just say, can you just hold me? We find that it's easier to act out, to be someone else, to rage. We use alcohol, we use food, we use substances to numb this present moment enough to endure yet one more day. Please take time to reflect and ask yourself, is this all there is? Is this the life you deserve? Do you want more? More experience? More variety of feeling and sensations? Do you want the ability to drink a cup of coffee or tea while looking out the window and you feel every glorious moment? Every glorious moment. It becomes the greatest tea or coffee you've ever had, with the most brilliant colors and beautiful images you've ever seen, and you are at such delight inside, such gratitude. So many glorious moments in 1 minute. And when I take a conscious breath, inhale and exhale, I check in for my 2 feeling words. I scan any sensations in my body that want to be acknowledged, and without preference or judgment or impatience, I notice the sharp parts, the sadness in my heavy heart. And with all of that, I feel such gratitude that I am showing up in this moment. This is my life, and I want to feel it all. I want to live fuller. I want to live more authentically. I want that for you. If you are ready for a new year and a new chapter, I am always available one-on-one for private sessions. They're always 1 hour. I charge $100 for one, $150 for two. Or if you're ready to do the work, I recommend 4 sessions for $270. That's a series where you do it once a week or once every other week. I am in Austin, Texas, USA, so that's Central Time. And you could reach me at Samana, S-A-M-A-N-A, Tiger, at yahoo.com, or you can text me 808-283-7587 and tell me your time zone, and we will set up an appointment. I do not have many degrees from universities. I do have a lifetime of learning to peel away all that is false accepting what is, and compassionately sharing the journey I have walked. I know the dark. I've been there many, many times, and I find peace there. And I always find that as I come out of the dark, I am new. I have a new awareness. I have a new experience in my heart. Life is fuller. Let me help to guide you. And if money is an issue, I will continue these podcasts. This is my way to give back to the planet. I ask you to be kind to yourself and ask, do you want to live a life motivated by short-term pleasure and self-centeredness, or are you ready to deepen to a life-centered awareness inclusive of everyone? Just show up in the moment. Be present. Blessings all. Aloha.